Hello and welcome back. In our previous video in our seismic tutorial series, we created this new .map display, which we are using for our seismic interpretations. Now we're going to create a new horizon file, and we are going to use that to start picking. So let's get started. So what I'll do is I'll right-click on our seismic tutorial folder, and I'll say New Horizons. And I'll call this teapot dome dot horizon. And there are a few options here that we need to set. First, we have the option of time or depth. Because my seismic is in time, I will specify this as time. It asks about the Bing grid. We are going to inherit the Bing grid from our data set here. So specifically, we are going to choose this teapot 3D.vol. And we need to specify a projection file here. Now this is important, so we're going to select that projection file that we used earlier, and we will just choose that here, and we will say OK. By choosing that projection file, it helps ensure that everything is consistent and in the correct XY position. It opens up this horizons file for this. This is our internal representation. You can just close this file. We'll not be using it. At least we'll not be using that view. So next step, we need to add this. We need to add that horizon to our display. So here we'll come over to our slice layer, or our slice window, and we will click plus, and we're going to add a new structure here, and we're going to select our teapot dome.horizon file there, and we're going to say add. And now what we'll need to do is we'll right click and we'll say pick a horizon, and it asks us to add a formation teapot dome.horizon. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pick one of these upper peaks here. So I'm going to say upper, and I want to pick this in kind of a green color here, and I'm going to say add. And now once again, I'm going to right click here to enter the context menu, and I'm going to set my picking mode as auto pick, and I'm going to right click again. I'm going to set my snap mode as peak because I want to pick one of the peaks here. And specifically, I'm going to zoom in here. I want to choose this peak here. So all I need to do is left click, and you'll see that it begins auto picking. I can then left click and drag to move around my survey. And then I can just do a short left click. I can do that short left click to continue my auto picking here. And if my auto picker gets off track here, I can right click. I can say picking mode box delete, and then I can left click and drag to highlight the points that I would like to remove. Okay, and now I'm going to go back to auto picking here. And you'll notice that as I am picking it here, I'm going to hide these headers away, that it is showing where we've picked here. So now I'm going to switch to an inline view. So I'll come here and click where it says time cross line, and I'll choose time inline. And I can left click and drag here in the map, or I can choose here in my survey. And you'll notice right now that it just takes a brief second for it to load there, and that's because it's just caching up some of the data. And now we can see that we have this rather long inline here. So I'm going to zoom in, and we're still in our picking mode. So I'm just going to left click here a few times. And there we go. We've now traced out some more of this. I'm going to, once again, left click and drag. So if I do a left click and hold there, it allows me to pan across the data. Okay, and now you can see that we have picked out a cross line. Once we've picked out both one inline and one cross line, we can then display our real-time gridding here. So I'm going to come here to my map view. I'm going to click the plus button to add a layer. I'm going to add a property, and I'm going to select our horizon file, and I'm going to tell it to display the upper horizon, and I'm going to invert the polarity here on my color bar and say add. Sorry, it looks like I accidentally missed the click there. Click apply. And now you can see it is giving us this preview here. Now that I've picked this inline, one inline and one cross line, I'm going to do a little bit more picking. Here, I want to pick on a somewhat regular grid, so I start off with inline 135 here. So I'm now going to go to, let's say, 155. So you can see we'll jump a little bit here to the right, and we can see that initial seed point that we made. So once again, I'm already in the picking context, so I can just left click here. And you'll notice that as I left click and as it makes this interpretation, the grid begins to update here in real time. So you'll notice here that it's just building those contours out in real time. Okay, I've picked that one out. I'm going to now move to line 175. Oh, sorry, I accidentally there made an errant pick. So I'm going to go back to this line, right click. I'm going to box delete here, remove that one point, and then we'll go back to line 175. We'll need to right click and we'll go back into our auto picking mode here. And we'll do a little bit of picking on this line. And there we go. Seismic gets pretty noisy here toward the edges, but I think that's okay. And now what we'll do is we'll go back in the other direction. Let's go to line 135. That's where we started. Let's go to line 115. Okay, and here we can see our seed point here. So I'm going to pick a little bit to the right of it here. You'll notice we have a fault here. If you want to remove the data around that fault, what we'll do here is we'll just right click and we'll say box delete, and we'll just delete a small number of points there. Then we'll go back into our auto picking mode, and then we'll pick some of the points here off to the left. Okay, and now we're starting to build out this interpretation. I'm going to switch back to picking some cross lines here. And here was our initial cross line that we picked. I'm now going to jump a little bit here to the south. And now we can see where we have some of our crossing inlines here. So I'm just going to set some interpretations here. Just auto picking here. And I noticed when I picked here, data's pretty noisy. I'm not sure that I trust that. So once again, we'll just do a little box delete here and go back to our auto picking mode. We'll jump down another 20 cross lines or so. And once again, we will continue with our interpretation here. And once again, if you don't like what it did here, we can just box delete on that. I think there was a little bit here on the other side that I wanted to box delete, and then we'll go back to our auto picking mode, and relatively happy with that now. So now I'm going to jump up to cross line 175, so moving to the north here, and I'm going to pick a few points here. Once again, just auto picking across, and I'm just going to leave. Well, we'll go ahead and we'll pick out here to the horizons. It's clearly going off track there. So once again, we'll use our delete features here to remove that, and we're going to interpret uh, one last line here. So line 195. So once again, need to set this in auto picking mode. Okay, we'll just do a couple of picks here, and then we'll see where we stand here at the end. Okay, so now that we've done that, we have picked out a number of inlines and cross lines here across our data. It is showing us these picks as we build it out, and we are also getting the real-time gridding as we go across here. Now, as you continue to pick out both the inlines and the cross lines, you know, this grid will start to become more regular looking and won't be driven by such a small number of data points. So don't worry if your grid looks a little odd at the moment, because you know, here we've only picked parallel lines, so of course the contours are gridding relatively parallel to themselves. Okay, so that is it for picking an initial seismic horizon. We're going to end this part of the tutorial here, and in our next video we'll show you how we can start picking out multiple horizons. See you there.